I'm going to start the meeting. That's why I asked them for 10 minutes of 6 so we can get the issues out of the way, not at me to scramble to find stuff. So welcome everyone to the February 9th Commission on Disabilities meeting. I have a little flag here, so if we stand in, sit or whatever, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I will do a roll call. Let me find my trusty pen here. So make sure it is going live. I'm just going to make sure that it is live before we continue to go. Okay, so the roll call of the members, myself, Ralph DeChico, the chair is here. Pauline Perno.
Here.
Enza Goodwin.
Here.
Asma Abu Fuda. Here. Robert Bent is going to be absent, and Brian Vesci is going to be absent. And Jason, I just sent him the link, so hopefully he'll be able to get onto the meeting. So we will we'll go from there. I had sent the email out with the notes that Pauline did for the last meeting, so hopefully you are able to receive them and go over them. I don't know if there was if there's any corrections that need to be made. Only thing I got to do, Jason, is change the name because you're under on my link.
What's that?
You have to do a rename.
Oh, I have no idea how to do any of that. I'm lucky I even clicked.
All right, this is why you have to keep that invitation, because that's the only way you can get onto the meeting.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because I can't send you a link, because the only way to get on it is through that invitation. That's why I send out the reminders to make sure that everybody has it. And
no, I think it either got archived or accidentally deleted. I think it got archived possibly. Sometimes when you get so many emails, your email auto archives it. So I think that's what happened, but I couldn't find it. I'll have to.
So Jason's marked as present for this meeting.
Yes.
So the first thing is we just item 1 was just the approval of the minutes from the January meeting.
Seconded.
Can somebody make a first of it?
Oh, first.
Okay. So we have a first of that. Okay.
Yep.
Item number 2, we're going to have to table again, was the introduction of Brian Vesci. So we'll just skip right over that.
Okay.
Update and next steps from the January meeting. We had, I believe, what we had for next steps from the January meeting that we were going to discuss that we had added into the notes was Enza was going to see about that CPAC flyer for the meeting last night to go onto the Revere website. But as we discussed at the meeting last night, I don't think Dr. Gallucci had done it because I didn't see it on the city calendar. So that's why I had mentioned at that meeting that that's what they should start using to utilize that in the social medias. I tried sending it to a few places yesterday when I seen that it wasn't. This way we could get a little bit more of apparent following for you for the CPAC meetings.
If I could just interject, the original flyer was created.
Oh, we lost you, Enza. I lost your sound. Yeah, you're back. You're unfrozen now. You can try talking now.
Ralph, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I had just mentioned that even though Dr. Gallucci wasn't able to share it with the city or didn't share it, the flyer itself was prepared and available weeks ago. So it was out there. So I don't want to take away from what should or shouldn't have been done, but it was out there for a little bit.
Okay. One other suggestion that you may want to make on that, since it's a tiny URL, because I was having some issues trying to cut it, and I was in the waiting room last night 15 minutes to try and get into the meeting. I logged in at like 5 minutes of 6, and it was 13 past 6, and I still wasn't in it. So I logged back out and relogged back in. That might be a glitch of the tiny URL, because you have to type it in and whatnot. So I retyped it in. I did it a couple of times. That they may want to try and hyperlink it somehow. I don't know if it can be done.
I think the original one was, and I think what ended up happening was when it got translated, it became a PDF, and as a result, it just wasn't able to click and go onto it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was that. The other next step was Asma and Pauline were going to begin working on a clear mask distribution criteria and form. I believe I had attached that and sent that email to everyone for this meeting, so you could take a look at it, and we could go over a couple of minutes and see if we wanted to add, delete, or make any changes to that form if everyone had received it. I could try and I don't really want to share the screen because I might lose the connection. So if everybody did, I send it out in the email to everyone. Basically, the Claire Mass distribution is the questionnaire, the name, address, email contact, phone contact, reason for the request. It was choose a circle, all that apply. Is there anything that we should add or delete on that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out, where to draw the line so that we don't get into confidentiality issues. It was more of a screening tool to try to just keep it very, very simplistic. And as Asma said to me, make sure that we had other contact information, because I had originally just put the address. But yes, adding an email and a phone number so that there's ways to contact people. And just a real brief place to say, is there anything else that you want us to know? So, but really just try to keep it very, very short, sweet, simple, so that we don't get into confidentiality issues. Because I really think that there's, a time and a place for that, but this is
right. Yeah, exactly. And places that I can put this is I can put this on the disability website and Facebook page. I can attach the form right there. It will be, I can put it right on once it's, if we say this is a go, I can just attach it as a downloadable form from the disabilities page on the city website, and also add it to the disability Facebook page if that sounds logical, since everything is now electronically and there's no office and whatnot. And what I could also do is the other thing I can do is add the phone number to the bottom of the form.
Mm-hmm.
Where it says thank you, Disability Commission, I can add the phone number and email address.
Never know how you want to keep going with that, since we don't have a permanent.
Yeah, because I'm trying the best way is if they can scan it and email it back, would be the quickest way, instead of it getting mailed, because we are trying to go all electronic. Before the pandemic, all of our forms were going to be fillable PDFs, but because of the pandemic, that's all been put to the forefront right now. Because somebody had to come in and do that from the outside. So that will be eventually getting done. So right now, what I've been asking for some of the forms that we're having is for people to download them, fill them out, and scan them when possible to send back. If not, they have to email it. But what happens sometimes when we actually mail them, when they're getting mailed, sometimes they're getting lost and there's a delay for getting the paperwork and picking it up. And then I have to scan it and do it electronically so that it can get into the system. So I'm trying to skip a couple of those steps and fast track a lot of our forms and paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if that sounds permissible, then I can just add the Disabilities main email address and office phone number that they can contact for questions. They could, and I'll put it, please email this form back to the email address.
Mhm.
And all else fails, just call the office when any questions or concerns. Because I think the best way is to send it back, or, you know, all else fails, they can call and I'll have the form and have to just hand fill it in or what.
That's why we were trying to keep it as short as
Yeah,
possible.
because I can fill it out. Like I'll keep a Word document on the computer. Or I could, you know, and then I could just fill it in right into the Word document, and so I don't have to print it out, write it out. This way, it's all electronic.
Right.
And then, you know, I'll keep the file, and, you know, it can share it with everyone, and then we can go from there. That sounds logical.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty realistic.
Okay. The next item was item 4 was CODA, Commissions on Disabilities Alliance, the monthly conference call, which was held last Wednesday, the 3rd. Basically, this month's call, they did not have an agenda. It was basically tailored to another city, I believe on the South Shore, that was looking to establish a Commission on Disability department, and they wanted some feedback from other Commission on Disabilities on how to go about doing that, how they let their towns know about that there's a Commission on Disabilities. So they were basically picking our brains of the Commission on Disabilities that were at the meeting to give them some insights, some ways that we found that helped when we established this, some do's and don'ts, and some suggestions on how they can establish that. So once they did establish it, to get the word out, some of the suggestions that I suggested along with other ones is if they do have a public access TV, to try and use the public access TV to say we have a new Commission on Disabilities in our town, also use the local newspapers. And if the city or town has an active city or town website, to have that put on their front page of their website, and to create a disabilities page on that page, along with possibly creating a social media Facebook page to get the word out, and also talk to possibly going to their if it's a city or town, if the counselors are aldermen, and go to one of their meetings and speak to that, to let everyone know that they've established a Commission on Disabilities. Then they would want to create a mission statement and set up how they were going to go about having monthly meetings in members of the Commission on Disability. So that was basically, usually it's an hour and a half meeting. It was only a 45-minute meeting this month. So I just wanted to let everyone know on that. Item number 5 is the CPAC events and updates and schedules for February events, and I will turn that over to Inza Goodwin.
Okay. I just want to make sure, can you guys hear me? If I can have a thumbs up, perfect. And
I'll give you a thumbs down if we can't hear you.
Perfect. Thanks, Ralph. So back in January, back on the 21st, CPAC held a virtual meeting. We were lucky enough to have Rick Frenny as our presenter, and it was for ages 18 plus. Unfortunately, we only had 4 participants, but I felt like I walked away with a lot of good information that Rick shared with us. Even though my son's only 10 years old right now, some things that I can start thinking about for the future in terms of planning during high school years and beyond. So I just want to thank Rick again for presenting to us, and we hope to have him back again sometime in the future. And then last night, CPAC hosted an open forum, which was run by Dr. Gallucci and Ms. Rizzo from the school department. And we had just about 15 participants, and it was set up as a question and answer segment. So we were able to ask some questions, and I think the revolving theme had to do with when will our kids be back in school? And unfortunately, at this time, it doesn't look like there is a definite date. So my takeaway on that is just to keep checking back in to see what we can do to get our kids back into school.
Okay. Okay. And one thing that I added to that meeting too, Enzer, that DESI came out yesterday, that there is an ASOST grant, which is an after school and out of school time quality grant that is available. And I had asked if the district is going to be applying for that and what the criteria is for it. And it can be used, I guess, for kids with ELL, IEPs, any disabled issues that they have. So they were going to find out some information on that because that was released by DESI yesterday. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront of the CPAC meeting last night because that, I don't know, I don't think there was a dollar amount attached to that grant, but it can be used, through the summertime. It can be used now out of school hours, during school hours. So that could help these students. So hopefully the district will find out some more information on that, get back to CPAC on that, along with the other families in the district.
Okay. And Ralph, maybe we can include that also as a next step. So maybe we can try to circle back with Dr. Gallucci over the next 4 weeks.
Okay.
And at our next meeting, we'll see if we have any updates on it.
Sure. One other thing is that this is item 6. I forgot neglected that I rolled right into that was late items. The other thing that I want to update the community on that I knew was at the forefront, but I had a meeting yesterday on it with Elle Baker from Community Development. Is Ambrose Park? She had established and secured some grants. Ambrose Park is going to be fully redeveloped and is going to be a fully accessible ADA compliant playground. So that is on the horizon. Hopefully this spring that is going to be starting. So myself, Elle Baker, Jen Duggan, and Michael Hanahosa just had some discussions on it yesterday. There will be some figuring out how to get some community input from the neighborhoods, and also one of the ideas is to get this information out to contact the CPAC families, so we can get some input when we start doing community input from them. But it's going to be fully accessible. It's going to have the ramps to get to all the equipment. It's going to have some sight and sound stations. It's going to have the visual boards. It's going to have a lot of great areas. We got Jen Duggan helping out, so make sure that we have what's needed in that. So that's great news. So it's going to be a fully accessible ADA compliant playground. And then we'll work on getting it all fenced in with one gate. Hopefully that can be closed in and out. So that's great news, along with, HYM has agreed to do one there also. So that one will be also a state of the art. So we're looking at all aspects of people with disabilities, young and old, in the city. So things are moving in the right direction. I know COVID is putting a damper on a lot of things and slowing down a lot of things, but we're plugging away, trying to get things done. The Broadway revitalization is moving forward. That's going to be starting. You're going to see some the automatic signalization coming into Broadway to the signalizations from Beach Street down to Revere Street. All the ramps on the sidewalks will have the handicap accessible cutouts on them. So that's going to be getting done. The city has appropriated the extra money that was in a shortfall from the money that was received in the grant. We were not awarded the MOD grant that Julia worked so hard at for $250,000. So the city has graciously, through the council, approved to fund the money that we were on the shortfall for that. So that's also going to be in the horizon for this spring. So that's a lot of good news for all the disabled residents that use Broadway. and need the ASD automated signalizations for the cross lights and all that down there on Broadway. I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything they wanted to add to that, or any other information they wanted to know on that.
Well, do you think a couple things, Ralph? One, do you think we'll be getting more automated signals throughout the city? Because it just seems to be the most crucial thing, especially because we're getting a lot more high traffic in the city these days. The whole.
Yeah, it all depends on where it is. If it's a lot of the roadways are DOT, so there's a lot of red tape and a lot of things, but Broadway is the first thing. And then with DOT, that's the main trunk line is Broadway, and then everything branches out. So once that's done, then they'll look at to other areas to branch out. I know that I believe the North Shore Road area was recently done. North Shore Road to Winthrop Ave. Some of the streets there was signalized, so they are piecemealing it and doing it as they're finding the grants to get that done.
What about Shirley Ave? Because that needs there's some of the areas that with the traffic, the way that people drive down that, and the Shirley
Ave is getting all new residential lighting. I'm not sure on the automated signalization. I don't want to say yes, but I thought there was one area that may have already gotten it, but I'm not sure on that. I haven't seen anything on that yet, but I know Julie DeMauro is on top of it. I know Broadway was the first corridor. I believe that then there's the first trunk, and then they have to connect from Broadway to North Shore Road, Winthrop Ave to Revere Street. So everything's got to connect in the middle. So, and there's going to be one central hub. So they have to do it. The main place that has to be done is the central location for the hub of it. That the brains of the operation is going to be on Broadway. So once that is all formulated, the back end of it, then they can start looking at the equipment and getting everything and getting it tied in, facilitating the money to do it. And then procuring if it's DOT, because a lot of the roads are DOT. I know the Revere Street and Lee Burbank Highway by the Blanchards was supposed to get done last April before the snow started, but I believe they started doing that. That was getting the ASD signalization. So everything's getting done because that was DOT. It started from Northgate down that way. So there's different entities that are tying in. So it's a bunch of different agencies that have to come together. That it's not just a Revere can do it. It has to be done by different agencies. So Revere is contacting everyone.
Hopefully we can grab onto some of those MOD grants going forward, so we can.
That's what we tried. We just tried for that 250,000, and we didn't win that one. So there'll be another one coming up in the spring again. So Julie will try again, and I'll try and help her. We did win that one for the 250 that I did all of the buildings to get the transition plan for all the buildings to see what's needed and for ADA and things like that. So I did win that grant, 250,000. So that was done, all the self-evaluation and transition plans for all the municipal buildings.
Good.
One other late item that I wanted to, I'm trying to think, there was one other late item that I wanted to mention that I thought I had it written down, but it may come to me after. The letter did go out to Chief Callahan with him asking to contact the other agencies and then to get back to us with questions, concerns, or to come to the commission. So hopefully we'll hear something for that, for not only the Shirley Ave neighborhood, but other neighborhoods throughout the city.
Good.
And I don't know if anybody else has any other late items that they wanted to discuss.
No, I think that everything's been covered. One thing I was going to say when you were saying how COVID kind of put a stop to everything, maybe if we were trying to find any positivity in COVID, is maybe it did make everybody stop and take a look at what really needed to be addressed, things that maybe have been pushed to the back burner, things that were not addressed because of a variety of issues. So maybe in hindsight, there is a small blessing, a very, very teeny tiny blessing, with having to stop everything else and really address some of the issues that are necessary. And, maybe that will open up a whole new game plan for the city and for other agencies to really take a look at, well, we had time to take a look at what happened during COVID, so maybe we can roll this over into another venue, so maybe some positivity will come out of this, I'm hoping. Because it has been a very long haul for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it did. Definitely, it's one thing. It did open up a lot of eyes and bring a lot of things to the forefront that I don't want to say have been neglected. What I want to say is haven't been put to the forefront of haven't been worked on, but which is a good thing.
Well, I think it's all areas, including disabled, but also people who have, don't have access to healthcare. Just basic stuff starting to show. Coming to the forefront in some way that have been ignored, and it's just the truth has been ignored. It doesn't, Washington doesn't look at it the same way. Even our Beacon Hill sometimes forgets, and it's not intentional. I just don't think they realize it.
Right.
Forget where you come from.
I remember the other thing that I mentioned too is last night at the council meeting, there was a motion to a resolution to Amazon to helping with housing. And I don't know if anybody saw the council meeting, but I also asked if, they could also try and talk to not only Amazon, but any other businesses in the city to try and come up with a program to help with getting jobs and teaching the disabled to bring them into the workforce. There's a lot of cities on the North Shore that are doing that now, that are mentoring all people with all types of disabilities, bringing them into the workforce, teaching them skills, giving them a paying job, and teaching them to be self-sufficient. So I asked that, Amazon would be a great company to try that with, along with any companies that are coming into the city or any companies that are here. That's something that we should try and create in this town for our disabled residents in the community.
Well, the other trick, Ralph, would be, you heard about the new coffee company that's looking for a spot, right?
No.
Yeah, there's one from North Carolina, and the couple that started it, their two sons have Down syndrome, and the employees are all disabled. They're looking eventually to open up 100 throughout the entire country in the next 10 years, but they're also already scouting Boston for one. So maybe we want to try to talk them into coming over here. Because
you have that company's information, name and whatnot?
I don't. It was on the news, actually. I just happened to hear about it. I was talking to my mom about it. And I think that's a good start. That would really help us. It starts with
if you find out the name, let me know, and I will give it to our community development office to try and reach out to them.
See if I can get them to come over here. And I'm just thinking it's another spot. In addition, it would put Shore on the map a little bit.
Plus, a lot of the companies too, if it's an existing company, it not only benefits the disabled residents, as an added bonus, the company gets a tax break, as I'm sure you've seen on the news. So they do get a tax incentive for hiring people with disabilities. So it's twofold. It will create jobs, and it will also help these residents that are disabled create a skill of some sort and help them be self-sufficient. Anyone else have any comments or anything else that they would like to share? I know it's a snowy night out there. Hope you didn't drive too crazy to get here to this meeting tonight. You didn't have to go too far, right?
Had to come from work. They wouldn't let us go home. We're supposed to set the example for the DOT. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't see, and let me check if there's any residents in the waiting room. I I think we're quiet, so we don't have, so item number 7 was residents' concerns, issues, or questions. There's no one in the attendees for that, and I didn't get any emails with any residents' questions or concerns. I don't know if anyone else had got any questions or concerns from any residents that they
No, none.
wanted to bring to the forefront. The last item we have is item number 8, and I will give that to Pauline to read this month.
Oh, thank you, Ralph. What a nice guy you are. So our reminder for item number 8, the Commission on Disabilities, due to COVID-19 and the safety of all residents, is trying to limit in-person appointments due to the unavailability and use at our present office location. Residents can speak to staff from our 311 Constituent Service Center Monday through Friday when you call our office at 781-286-8267. They will be able to answer most questions, but if they are unable to, or if you would like a call back from our office, please ask to be transferred to the Disability Office's voicemail, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. We are working on solidifying another temporary location for our office for necessary in-person appointments determined by the COD on Friday mornings. We will update this information when available on the City of Revere's website disability page. As always, please let us know if you would like something discussed or brought up and added to our monthly meeting agenda. You can let us know if you would like to speak on any issue or concern. The Commission is here to help and assist all of the disabled residents and families of Revere.
Thank you. So the next steps, what we have just on here for the next steps is, as Enda suggested, is to see if we can find out from Dr. Galucci any follow-up information for the ASOST grant, to see if we can find any information for that. And I think that's what we have, the only thing that we had for a next step for next month. And I will work on adding the 2 remaining informations to the Clear Mask form and add that to the disabilities page on the city's website.
Great.
And I'll also put it on the Facebook, Facebook's page, the disabilities Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Before we have a motion to adjourn, just wanted to remind residents that this Thursday at 6 p.m. is the Mayor's State of the City address. It's going to be a little bit different this year. It's going to be done virtually through Zoom, and also I believe it's going to be carried on Revere TV, and it's at 6 p.m. The information has been in the Revere TVs, and it's on the City of Revere's website. So please join if you are available. Also, the city's pop-up food pantry will be this Thursday night at 4:30 for Revere residents at the RMA. You just need your proof of Revere residency to come down, and we will be there from 4:30 until the boxes run out. That's the information that I have, and I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And do I have a second?
Motion.
Okay, so the meeting has been adjourned. Our next meeting will be via Zoom on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Please be safe. Drive safely going home now. And as always, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.